Dick McDick coming to you here today with a Quick Dick McDick Toonie, where you get $2 worth of my opinions, because 2 cents don't buy very much anymore. Today, we're talking about Justin Trudeau and his federal Canadian gun ban. In case any of you missed it, on the 1st of May 2020, our federal liberal minority government came down on Canadians with a massive firearm ban, banning over 1,500 makes and models here in Canada.
Is it just Quick Dick, or is everybody starting to get afraid of the first day of every month? On April 1st of 2020, it was a 50% increase on the carbon tax. May 1st, 2020, we've got a gun ban. What's coming on June 1st, 2020? The first day of every month, Trudeau seems to come and take a big dump on us.
Now, why don't we have a look at the statement made by the individual that 33% of the voting population in Canada voted for to represent them, and 34% of the voting population in Canada voted against. Tell me again how democracy works.
We are banning 1,500 models and variants of these firearms by way of regulations. You don't need an AR-15 to bring down a deer.
Huh. Well, no shit. Not only do you not need one, but it's illegal to do it. All and any respectable licensed firearm owners in Canada know this. Does somebody write this shit for him, or does he come up with it all on his own as he descends the steps from his cottage every morning? Quick Dick feels like he's flipping over pages with pictures of penguins on them for 10 minutes a day, and then sees his shadow, gets scared, pulls up his fancy socks, and runs back into his house again. If you have a restricted AR-15 here in Canada, it must be in a locked cabinet. If it leaves said locked cabinet, it must be rendered inoperable, then locked in a container and transported directly to either a gunsmith or a firing range, where it can be fired at the firing range if you hold a membership to said government-approved firing range. That's it. You're also required to have one of these, an RPAL, Restricted Possessions and Acquisitions License, which requires extensive training and certification processes, along with a thorough background check by our friends, the RCMP. So what's the point of this statement, Prime Minister? Are you trying to convince the population that there's a bunch of crazed people running around mowing down deer with AR-15s? Because there's not. Canada is home to some of the most responsible hunters and firearm owners in the world. Then these guys go on multiple times saying over and over and over that they're banning weapons that were designed to kill the most amount of people in the least amount of time.
These weapons were designed for one purpose, and one purpose only: to kill the largest number of people in the shortest amount of time.
The most amount of people in the smallest amount of time? Like a shotgun that we use for duck and goose hunting and Olympic shooting? Because that made your list.
I want to assure hunters and farmers and target shooters in this country that nothing that we are doing today or will do in the future is intended to interfere with this lawful, responsible, and legal activity.
That's like Quick Dick's neighbor coming and kicking Quick Dick in the nuts because some random guy driving by on the highway banged his daughter, and then telling Quick Dick that this is not meant to hurt you. So at this point in time, if you hadn't lost interest in this poor excuse for a public address, these guys say this.
There will be an exception for Indigenous peoples exercising a Section 35 hunting right.
Wait a minute, did they just imply that it is legal for Indigenous persons to use military-grade assault weapons to hunt? Because it's not! Are they just vomiting random facts in this address to the country? What's the next thing we're gonna hear him say? Did you know that a male dog hunches its back when it takes a shit and lifts its leg to piss? We're not even gonna rip the top off the can of the fact that this list of firearms contained a coffee company, an airsoft gun, and a website. But this toonie isn't gonna focus anymore on the specifics of this gun ban. This toonie is about the idea behind it. Let's have a closer look at why Quick Dick is against this federal gun ban. Now here's our closest rural RCMP detachment. Let's take a drive from here to north of Tufnell, Saskatchewan. And here we are, north of Tufnell, Saskatchewan. Not much around, eh? Now let's say a criminal with ill intent comes onto this property in the middle of the night with a military-grade assault weapon and is threatening Quick Dick McDick's life, and Quick Dick McDick calls the RCMP.
We are looking at a minimum response time of 45 minutes to an hour before the RCMP get here. They might come from Wynyard, they might come from Foam Lake, they might come from Modena, they might come from Yorkton.
There's also a chance that the RCMP aren't going to come without backup. This is assuming that they can even find the place. Now, Prime Minister, how should a person out here in the middle of nowhere handle the situation of a criminal coming onto their property with a military-grade assault weapon with the intent to cause them harm? And a bunch of you saying, well, quick, Dick, the criminal couldn't possibly have a military-grade assault weapon because effective immediately, they're prohibited in Canada. Ha! Because something being prohibited in Canada is going to keep criminals from using them, right? Just like heroin and methamphetamine and crack cocaine. They're prohibited. You can't buy them, you can't sell them, you can't transport them, you can't even possess them. That's why nobody dies from them in Canada, right? Furthermore, has anyone told the criminals that this is happening? Where are they supposed to line up to turn in their smuggled and stolen military-grade assault weapons? And how many of those even exist here in Canada? I'll bet we don't have that number. Let me guess. This would be how you would recommend we handle criminals here in Canada that mean us harm.
Hello, criminal person. Please don't harm me. I'm defenseless. Here's your lunch. I made you a coffee. Here's the keys to Morty. Safe travels. Good luck in all of your illegal adventures. Bye. Thank you for not shooting me. Nice criminal. Now here's how Quick Dick would have handled this situation prior to this gun ban. The next one's not gonna be a warning! Except now, the criminal laughs at Quick Dick's .22 caliber rifle because the 10-gauge shotgun that he has to protect himself was just made illegal by Bill Blair and Justin Trudeau. Unfortunately, sometimes there's dire situations in which huddling in a ball in your home waiting for the RCMP to come is not going to be an option, and people need the opportunity to be able to protect themselves. The only thing this gun ban does is take legally acquired and registered firearms out of law-abiding citizens' hands at the expense of said law-abiding citizens. You're saying, but Quick Dick, that's not right. The government's buying them back from the owners of the firearms. Ha! Buying them back with what? Justin Trudeau and Bill Blair's pensions? Ha! They're using tax dollars out of the pockets of the damn firearm owners to buy their own weapons back from them. Quick Dick's not sure if everyone's aware of it or not, but currently, this federal leader of ours is running our country in upwards of $250 billion in deficit. And dumping a can of gas on that fire is not going to help things out, because this isn't going to be a $250 million buyback program. It's going to cost billions. And when the government's finished blowing these billions of dollars out its ass, we'll be at the exact same place. Innocent people will die from weapons that are smuggled into Canada. Because if criminals want something like a military-grade assault rifle, it being prohibited in Canada is not going to stop them from getting their hands on it. And the unfortunate thing is, a crazed individual is not going to stop carrying out what they have set to do just because they can't get their hands on a firearm. If they want it done bad enough, they're going to find some other horrendous way to do it. So now all we're going to have is a bunch of pissed off firearm owners, both at the government and at groups that were exempted from this ridiculous ban in the first place, all because the federal government wanted to push a political agenda. Except now, we're going to have bigger problems on the black market because they just found themselves a brand new shiny customer, former law-abiding Canadian citizens. Congratulations, Prime Minister Longstockings. Quick Dick's Toonie's simple. If you want to blow billions of dollars, put it towards border control, enforcement, and mental health solutions, and tackle the actual problem that we have instead of punishing legal Canadian firearm owners. But that's just how Quick Dick sees it. This is Quick Dick signing off, reminding you, in the next federal election, let's make Trudeau's ballots count minimal, because he just tried to make a bunch of law-abiding Canadian citizens criminals. We'll catch you next time.